Hi, I'm Josephine with Mom's Twin Guide. Today I want to talk to you about the 4 types of twins. And when you have your first doctor appointment, if you were anything like me, you might have heard some terms that you didn't understand. Your doctor might have said something about your twins being monochorionic or diamniotic. They might have said di-di or mo-mo. Any of those terms that just didn't make sense. So I want to go over those with you because at my first appointment, just the news that I was having twins was enough of a shock to to make me not really be with it the rest of that appointment. So when they started throwing those terms at me, I was just smiling and nodding, but I had no idea what they were talking about. So I went ahead and I put a presentation together so that I could share what those terms mean so that you hopefully have a better idea than I did about what they were talking about. So I'm pulling this up now. All right, so this is the presentation I put together. The types of twins, what is di-di, mo-di, and mo-mo. Let's see if it'll go. Hold on a second, it's not turning right now. There we go. All right, before we get into those terms, we need to go ahead and look at the 2 ways that you can have twins. The first one is fraternal twins. Now, this is when you as the mom, you actually drop down 2 eggs during this cycle, and those 2 eggs each got fertilized by a separate sperm cell. So there's 2 eggs and 2 sperm cells. And with it being 2 eggs and 2 sperm cells, these twins, they will have completely different DNA from each other. So it's just like having 2 separate babies, completely different babies. The only thing that makes them twins is that they share a womb, that they are both growing at the same time. Now, the second way that you can have twins is identical twins. And this is when you drop down 1 egg and it was fertilized by 1 sperm cell. And then after the egg is fertilized, it splits into 2 separate eggs. So you'll have 2 babies, but since they started with only 1 egg and 1 sperm cell, they will have the same DNA. All right, now for some definitions. Your doctor may have said something about the chronicity of your twins. To break that down, the chorion is Latin for placenta. And for this video, we're just going to think of the placenta as the source of nutrients. It's just an organ that provides nutrients to the babies as they're growing inside of you. So if your doctor said that your twins are monochorionic, that means that there's 1 placenta for the twins to share, since mono means 1. If your doctor said that the twins are dichorionic, that means that there are 2 placentas. So there's 2 separate sources of nutrients for the 2 babies. So they each have their own source of nutrients. The next term is amniotic. This is referring to the number of amniotic sacs that there are. And for this video, the amniotic sac, we're going to think of that as just the protective bag of water that surrounds the baby to protect them from the outside world. So if your doctor said monoamniotic, that means that there is only 1 amniotic sac, so 1 protective bag of water that is around both of the twins. So there's 1 amniotic sac around both babies. So they share the sac. If the doctor said the twins are diamniotic, then there are 2 amniotic sacs. So each baby has their own protective bag of waters around them. All right, now we're going to go ahead and look at a visual so that you can see, so that you have a better idea of what I'm talking about. So on this table that I put together, it shows the 4 different types of twins. On the left-hand side, you can see that's your fraternal twins. Fraternal twins, as you remember, it started with 2 eggs and there were 2 sperm cells. So the 2 eggs, they just came down and they formed 2 separate babies there. And they each have their own placenta or source of nutrients, and they each have their own amniotic sac. So these babies, these twins, they are dichorionic, diamniotic. So dichorionic is the 2 placentas, and diamniotic is the 2 amniotic sacs. So to make that easier to say, we just shortened it down to di-di. So di-di twins. Now as you move over to the right on the table, there's your identical twins. And there are 3 different ways that identical twins can grow inside of you. The identical twin on the left, this one you started with your 1 egg and 1 sperm cell, and they split. These ones, they split before it actually implants into the side of your uterus. So because it splits so early on, there's enough time for the placenta to split into 2 placentas and for the amniotic sacs to split into 2 separate protective bags of water. So since there's 2 placentas, these babies are dichorionic, and since there's 2 amniotic sacs, they are also diamniotic. So they are your di-di twins. And as you see, there's 2 di-di twins on here. So if you're told at the beginning that you're having di-di twins, that doesn't really tell you much yet, because they can either be fraternal twins or identical twins. It won't be until later that you'll really know. If when you go in to find out what the gender is, if you are having a boy and a girl, then you know right away that it's fraternal twins, because boys and girls have different DNA from each other. If you are having 2 of the same gender and they're di-di twins, you won't really know until they're born, and you might not even know after that, because if you have 2 of the same gender, so let's say you have 2 girls who were di-di twins, and they look exactly the same when they're born, as the only way you can tell really is if as they grow, they start looking different from each other. Then it might be easy to tell they're fraternal. But if they continue to look the same, a lot of moms, they'll actually send in DNA samples from their children to see if they're identical or not, which it's not necessary to know, but a lot of people like to find out. Now, so with di-di twins, they can either be fraternal or identical. Now back on the identical twins section, in the second column for identical twins, the middle column, this one, you start with your single egg and it's fertilized by 1 sperm cell, and then it splits as it is being implanted into the side of your uterus. So this one, it took a little longer for it to split, so there's not as much time for the placenta to split into 2, but the amniotic sacs did split into 2 separate protective bags of water. So in this one, since there's only one placenta or source of nutrients, this is your monochorionic situation. But since there's two amniotic sacs still, that's diamniotic. So monochorionic diamniotic twins or MoDi twins. And then our final type of twin on the right, this identical twin, it had the one egg and one sperm cell, but it split after it was already implanted into the side of your uterus. So there was not enough time for the amniotic sac or the placenta to split into two separate ones. So these babies, there's two babies, but they share the same source of nutrients and they share the same amniotic sac or protective bag of water. And so they are monochorionic, monoamniotic twins or MOMO twins. So if you are told at the beginning that you are having MoDi or MOMO twins, you know right away that they're going to be identical twins because they have the same DNA. They started with one egg, and as they were splitting, they didn't have enough time to have both two placentas and two amniotic sacs. Now, there are cases where it appeared that fraternal twins, or that twins were going to be identical, but they ended up being fraternal. That only happens if the placenta fuses together, but that's a whole different story. So we'll just leave it at these four different types of twins. And if you are told they're di twins, that could either mean they're going to be fraternal or identical twins, and you won't know until later. And then if you are told at the beginning that they are either MoDi or MOMO twins, then you're having identical twins. So that is the end of my presentation. I hope that explained some of those terms that you might have been unfamiliar with. And one thing that I would like to recommend for any mom who is expecting twins is to reach out to your community and see if there is a Mom of Multiples group, Moms of Multiples. I found my Moms of Multiples group on Facebook, and it has been an amazing resource to have. It's all moms with twins, triplets, and more. And my group is a closed off group on Facebook, so you have to have proof that you're having twins. So it's all twin moms and more. And we can ask questions, share answers, share experiences with our twins. It's just a great way to connect with other moms of multiples. We do Mom's Night Out, which is something that you will really come to enjoy as your twins come into the world. And it's just a great resource to have. So anyways, but I'm Josephine again from Mom's Twin Guide. I hope you found this presentation helpful, and congratulations. You are expecting twins, and I'll tell you, you'll go through some hard times, but everything is worth it, and it is going to be so much fun. My twins, I have boy-girl twins. They are 22 months now, and they, they're a handful, that's for sure, but they are so much fun. And I think you're going to do amazing. and you've got this. And I hope you found this presentation helpful, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.